Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, dear conference delegates, most welcome to Stockholm. The organizer of your conference, the Center for Business Archives, Business History here in Stockholm, has for more than 4 decades played an important role in taking care of Stockholm-based and other Swedish business archives that lack ownership, to make sure that the future can draw conclusions about the past. The city of Stockholm has a long history of cooperation with your organization. Therefore, I'm really proud to be here today representing the Swedish capital in this opening session. But I'm also an historian and a big fan of archives. I think most people will find that a little bit peculiar, but I hope that most of us here today share that common interest. I would like to talk about 3 things that I believe characterizes Stockholm through history. The first thing is about urbanization and demography. Stockholm was founded in mid-13th century, about 765 years ago. And ever since, Stockholm has followed the international, or at least the European, trends of urbanization, but in a quite extreme way. When other cities and towns in Europe have been growing, Stockholm has been growing extremely fast. But in periods of deurbanization or urban stagnation, Stockholm has been suffered from extraordinary long or extraordinary deep period of stagnation. During the 17th century, for example, which is the Swedish era of great power, Stockholm grew by 500% in only 50 or 60 years. But that period was followed by 150 years of stagnation from the end of the 17th century to mid-19th century. And later on, or more recently, during the 1960s and 1970s, in 20 years, Stockholm lost about 1/5 of our inhabitants. But today, again, Stockholm is growing very fast. Stockholm is actually the fastest growing capital city in Europe right now. And in just a couple of years, in 2020, we will reach 1 million inhabitants in Stockholm. So that was the first thing. The second thing is about migration. Stockholm is a city of immigrants. Ever since the Middle Ages, a majority of the inhabitants of Stockholm has been born outside the city. The many immigrants have contributed to our culture, to our language, but also to economic growth and to trade and commerce. And that points forward to the third thing, entrepreneurship. Stockholm has a very long history of innovative business and entrepreneurship. In 1864, a very hard regulation of the business sector in Sweden was abolished. And that became the starting point for the Swedish genius industries that we talk about. For just a couple of decades following the abolition of the law, a lot of new businesses were founded in Stockholm that today are global leading industrial corporations. The Nobel Industries, Alfa Laval and Ericsson and Electrolux are some of those companies. But today we can see a new trend. In Financial Times, we quite recently read about Stockholm as a unicorn factory. The new internet-based tech industry has created Stockholm-based companies like Skype and Spotify, or the gaming industry companies like Mojang and King, and other companies like that. So that was the third thing. The 3 things: trends in urbanization, migration, and innovative entrepreneurship. That's the very brief history of Stockholm. And if you want to know more, you will find it in the archives. So I wish you every success with your conference on the future role of business archives. Thank you very much and good luck.